All right, guys, we are into the second week of working on our project Google Slides, and I hope you are having a blast and really enjoying learning more about your passion. Okay. All right, so as you noticed last week, I linked written directions for each of the Google Slides. They look like this. They're highlighted and color-coded. I am also adding all of the videos I made for last week on each of the slides. So all you have to do is look over here. And if you need to rewatch the directions I gave you for those slides, they're all on this first slide here for you. So if you click on this link, it will take you to my YouTube video from last week. Okay. And I will also put all of the videos I do for this week on this Google slide as well. Okay. I just want to give you a heads up that on Wednesday for our science Google Meet that you'll be joining me for, Mrs. Harmon is also going to be on there with me, and she's going to answer any questions about uploading a video to your Google Slides. I know that can be tricky for some of you. So if you do not know how to upload a video for Google Slides, I'm going to ask that you actually join my homeroom class for that Google Meet. And my homeroom time is at 10 o'clock on Wednesday, okay? So if you're in Mrs. Hartman's or Hormio's class, please join that 10 o'clock time because Mrs. Harmon's going to answer any questions that you have about uploading a video to your Google Slides. Okay, so we'll show you how to do that from a phone or if you want to upload it from your computer, and then we'll just put it right here on your slide for you, okay, in your project. All right. So let me get started about what slides we're going to focus on today. Okay, so today you're going to focus on your conclusion if you're working on an experiment. So let me open up those directions for your experiment here. Okay, so when you are writing your conclusion, you're going to talk about what did your experiment tell you? Okay, what did you learn from doing that experiment? Okay, that's what you're going to write about here. If you want, you can also include pictures on this slide of your experiment. That's totally fine. But you should have quite a bit of writing here about what your experiment told you and what you learned from your experiment. Okay, so this is a big slide because this is really the conclusion of your project. Okay, it also says down here you're going to analyze your data and draw a conclusion. So before you write about your conclusion, you really need to come up to a conclusion. Okay, look at your data and think about what did your experiment tell you and what did you learn. Okay, that's going to be this slide here for you. All right, if you are doing a demonstration or a research project, this is going to be all about your conclusion or summary of what you learned. So what was the big idea that you learned from this project, okay? All right, so if I go to this slide here, we are on these light blue highlights here. I forgot to tell you on that first slide, but I'm looking at the light blue highlight, and it's your conclusion or summary of what you learned, okay? So you're thinking about what did your research or demonstrations tell you, and what did you learn? Okay, and then you're also going to describe your procedure here. So what steps did you go through to create your demonstration? Okay, if you're just doing a research project and you don't really want to actually do a demonstration of something, that's fine. Just make sure that you actually, come up with a conclusion or you came up with a goal of what your research was. Okay, so you don't actually have to come up with a demonstration if you're not entering this into the science fair. So don't worry about building or anything like that. But just give me a good conclusion in writing about what you learned. If you want, you can also make a video here of what you learned as well. Okay, but like I said, if you're not entering this in the science fair, you don't actually have to do a demonstration if you don't want to. Now, if you are entering the science fair, that's a requirement for the science fair, so just make sure that you have a demonstration along with your research project, and that can be something super small. It does not have to be a big project, okay, but it should be some sort of demonstration on what you learned, really anything you learned, okay? All right, and then if you're doing an invention, you're going to do a research summary here. Okay, so let me flip over to the invention directions. And I'm looking again at the light blue highlight. Okay, so it says describe what scientific concepts you may have studied in creating your invention. Provide information on what similar products may already exist and who invented them. Explain how your invention is different. Okay, so my invention, people, you may have to go back to your research here. Okay, so look at your notes. Did you research any similar products that already exist or who invented them? Okay, if you did not, you might have to spend some time today researching so you can do this research summary slide. Okay, so if you don't get this done today, it's no big deal. You might have to go back to your research and do more research in order to answer this question. Okay, so think about what products may already exist and who invented them, and if they tie into any sort of scientific concept. Okay. All right, and then that should be all the directions you have for today. Remember, join me on our Wednesday morning Google Meet at 10 a.m. if you have any questions on how to upload a video. I will see you guys then.